Who's that Pokemon? It's Oculus! How are you doing, guys? SmartEntity here. Welcome to my complete walkthrough to the Natah quest, which was released with update 17. So to begin the mission, you will need to be encountered by the Oculus drone from the sentient race, we believe at this stage. And the encounter is completely random, but I don't think it's too rare, because I only played the game for about an hour or so since the beginning of update 17, and I got an encounter. So once you get that random encounter, you want to scan it, and once you've done that, you are given the quest in your codex. And of course, you're given an email, as always, to remind you of that. So you begin the quest in your codex, and immediately you are directed to a quest on Earth. So in this particular quest, what you need to do is you actually need to scan 3 different targets. The first target is a apparently broken ship component, and then once you do that, you will need to scan 2 separate sentient drones, so 2 separate Oculus. Now, previously in the game, what I've done was I usually record the beginning of the mission and the end of the mission, so you guys know what's going on, without having to wait through the boring playthrough. But I have had a few people saying they want to know what happens during the mission. So in this particular video, what I'll try to do is make everybody happy and just fast forward the boring part, such as now. So actually we're here. So this is the first part you need to scan. It's just a random ship component. Once you scan that, you are directed to 2 additional targets by the Lotus. So we'll try to do that. Oh, I think we went too far again.
I'm not getting a signal, but if you found the drone, scan it before it notices you.
Alrighty, so I mean, I've been running with low key quite a bit. I didn't actually even know it was scanning, but if it was scanning, I definitely recommend low key, just because invisibility, you know, take away any issues. Anyway, so here is another Oculus. You want to scan that. After you scan this guy, he runs away, and you want to scan the final guy, which is over here. You scan him, he goes away, done, and that completes part 1 of the mission. Now with this particular quest, the quest is extremely linear, but what I kind of feel the developers are trying to do is make you kind of familiar yourself with some of the changes that happened with update 17. Now the point with this quest obviously is to unlock the Exilus adapter. Now the Exilus adapter is something you will need in order to unlock the utility slot on your Warframe. The utility slot is an additional slot on Warframes that allow you to add a utility mod. Now the utility mods are a finite pool, and it includes mods such as Rush. Now that's freaking awesome, because back in the days, even when there was an additional slot, I was using Rush in a lot of Warframes, just because for a lot of us, I guess, you know, real veterans with this game who's had over a couple thousand hours in the game, the last thing you want to do is waste time, and the most important thing to do is actually rush through missions. So having this utility slot and obviously the rush mod without having to waste a Warframe slot is definitely a significant bonus. Alright, so towards the end of the mission, we are pretty much directed to the next mission immediately. The next mission we're looking at is a mobile defense mission. Now mobile defenses have changed very slightly in the new update. Notably, they've basically added more defensible console locations, but more importantly, you will basically encounter 2 to 3 consoles per mission, guaranteed apparently. If you think towards the end of update 16, we basically were encountering 1 terminal in your sort of T3, T4 mob defense 95% of the time, which was great, but now you are getting 2 to 3 consoles per mission. But the total defense time is divided between the number of available consoles. Now, as far as I know, previously, you know, it was completely random. Sometimes, well, most of the time, you're getting more than 3 minutes. On a very rare occasion, you get less than 1 minute, but now it's divided between the consoles, so it's a bit more friendly, or at least it's a bit more consistent. The other changes, which doesn't really matter that much, is console defense time will now scale with mission difficulty. Console health now scales with the number of consoles available in a mission. The total number of enemies that will spawn to attack consoles has been reduced, so not that significant. Who cares, right? So it's a quick summary of what the hell story is going on behind the quest. It's basically in the first part when you scan the drone, the Lotus get intrigued, so she sends you on a mission to scan more drones. And once you've scanned the 2 drones in our initial Earth mission, the Lotus actually abandons you, speech mark, speech mark. Um, and then we're introduced to this new character, I believe he's called Tishan. We'll call him Tishan for now. So we're introduced to Tishan, who directs us to this mission, which is a mobile defense mission. 3 defense points, pretty simple stuff, so we'll quickly jump through. So in this particular mission, we're basically gathering data for Tishan and he learns what on Earth is going on. And after this particular mission, we are given a notice that we basically intercept a mission from, well, intercept a message from Torrigger. And we are directed to a planet on, of course, the new tileset on Uranus. Now, this is a capture mission, and we are basically capturing a sergeant or an operative of Torrigger, trying to figure out what on Earth is going on. And that brings us to the next change with update 17. So capture missions. Now, capture missions now only have a single target, which is not unlike what we had a couple of years ago. They basically have a longer escape route, so give the, I guess, knob players around us or the newer players around us, to be more polite, more time to capture them, and obviously less likely to fail the mission. But you know, of the couple of missions I've done, I actually didn't really notice them having any change. Capture targets now have increased health and special abilities. Capture targets can now initiate lockdown if they reach a room without any players. New capture targets have been added to this game mode, but like I said, I haven't really noticed them being any more difficult. But you know, I guess I can't really comment given I am using pretty decent weapons and whatnot. So anyway, after this particular capture mission, we get to leave. And after this, we get to go on a survival mission, which I will quickly jump forward. So I mean, I'm not gonna show, you know, what the email or what the codex says because this mission is very linear. So we'll jump immediately to the survival mission. So again, on Uranus, of course, because the developers want to show off their new tile set. Now, okay, survival. Now, this is not a recent change, but from playing the game here and there, I've noticed there's a lot of people who don't know how to play survival properly. They're playing survival for fun, which, trying not to be sarcastic, is not the best way to play the game. So obviously, to play the game for fun, you run around, you kill enemies, great. But the way that survival missions actually works, or the way that you want to succeed in survival missions, is actually not move. I'm not even kidding, you don't want to move. What you want to do is find a location and you just want to camp there. That is the best way to play survival as far as farming goes, and that is the most effective way to play survival. In your T3, T4 survival, the best location is of course the sewers, indoors maps. The logic behind that is because once you are in a single location, you are optimizing and maximizing enemy spawn rates. By doing that, you are increasing life support drop rates. And if you are in a secure location like the sewers, where you are bottlenecking the enemies to only come in one location, it's extremely safe. Just a bit of a side note. Now, the way to succeed in your T3, T4 survival now, the best composition now is actually a Speed Nova to encourage plenty of enemy spawns and enemies coming to you. You want a Vauban with Vortex. You want to have Necros in there for Desecrate, and of course you want to have Trinity in there for Energy Vampire. Now obviously this is the best team if you do not want to use energy plates, and you can easily go to 60-minute survival without using any life support pods. Obviously you pick up life support, but you don't have to activate your life support pods. Obviously if you are willing to spend your energy plate, you can use another frame instead of Trinity. A couple of Warframes that are pretty goddamn useful are Warframes like Loki, which is what you see here. Another viable candidate is Nyx with Chaos and Absorb. All pretty decent. But you definitely, you know, the most important thing in the survival, other than, you know, you want decent weapons, you want all corrosive projection, you want your Warframe, composition is to stay in that one place. In fact, most of the missions I host now, and I get invited to, host, or at least one or two of the players usually say, we camp in the sewers. Very, very rarely do I, join a game where people just run around because it's not very effective at all. It might be fun, but it's not effective. So to carry on with the storyline of the mission, so in this particular survival mission, the story is Rigor is obviously under water, and he is in the sentient tomb, trying to discover all its riches and treasures and whatnot while we're surviving here. So we'll just quickly forward on this particular survival mission because it's just the same. So towards the end of the mission, or throughout the mission and towards the end of the mission, we basically learned that the Lotus is actually the daughter of a sentient that is found in the tomb. Now we don't know if she is a daughter by biological matter, biologically, or if she's a daughter just by title. But either way, we learned that the Lotus, towards the end of the war, the ancient war, had a mission to do, and she was supposed to activate a series of sequences, and she basically activated or performed all of them except for the final sequence, and we learned that the final sequence is actually killing all the Tennos. So the reason she didn't kill all the Tennos is because when she and her kind transfers into this part of the universe, or the gap as they call it, they had a default or defect, which is they become barren, and the sentient, or at least the Lotus, wanted to become a mother. So instead of killing the Tenno, she wanted to become the Tenno's mother. There. Deep, man. That's just deep. But anyway. So here, what you're looking at is basically me not knowing what the tile set is all about and trying to get in there. I was using, decoy, trying to let Switch teleport out. And then after going up and down, I actually realized there's a freaking console there, and you need to exit the console to get through the room. So that aside, now, of course, we are, introduced to this submersive Archwing hybrid, if you like. But like I said in my other video, I'm just so disappointed in this hybrid mission because the Archwing is only used for traveling. You don't actually need to use any Archwing weapons. There's minimal combat, if any. There's a few land mines or water mines in the water, but other than that, there aren't actually any enemies. So I was actually quite disappointed how Archwing is only used as traveling here. But that aside, we are in the initial stages, and we can only hope to see more as the game progresses. So as we progress, we come to this defense point. Now, one interesting factor about this particular defense is the defense pod actually changes with every wave. Now, I didn't actually notice that initially, and I was actually trying to figure it out. But other than that, we are introduced to a few other changes with defense, which I didn't actually notice in this particular game. So, defense waves now start with weaker enemies, progressing to support units and ending with heavy and excellent units to make the end of the wave more intense. The number of enemies attacking the player has been increased for early waves and decreased for later waves. This should not only improve performance on systems, but bring the duration of a 20-wave defense mission closer to 25 to 30 minutes. Now, I don't actually know if that's a good or bad thing, because from the sound of it, they're actually shortening defense missions, but I mean, anyone or any decent, composition of Warframes can easily finish a T3, T4 defense in less than 20 minutes, right? I.e., if you have a Speed Nova, they can speed them up, and a Frost, they can do Snow Globe. Snow Globe have changed, by the way, but, back in the days, if you had a, solid Snow Globe, you can easily finish a T4, T3 defense in less than 20 minutes. So the fact that the same missions now should be closer to 25 to 30 minutes, I kind of feel if they have more of the weaker stuff and less of the stronger stuff, we can probably finish it in less than 20 minutes guaranteed. But that obviously requires more testing. So this part of the video, you are basically looking at me trying to figure out why the hell the pod is different in health. And later on, I noticed there's a little mini-map on the top left of the screen showing me the target or defense target have changed location. So, we will progress with the defense mission. Bam, 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 bam.
Why did you betray me? Why did you
oh, and by the way,
finish
Natah
the
is Lotus's
sequence you
old name.
started?
Oh yeah.
Why did you stop at the last?
So towards the end of the mission, you are basically given the Excellence Adapter, which, as I said before, you can use on your Warframe for a single utility slot, but it can only be used once. Now you can acquire more adapters by obtaining the blueprint from Kevlar Samarias and crafting it. Now the problem with that is, one, the blueprint do cost 50,000 standing, and two, the blueprint is single use. So what that means is you are basically going to need 3 days for a single blueprint, or 6 days, or 5 days for 2 blueprints. So even if you are farming Warframe to its max capacity, you can only get 2 utility slots on 2 different, well, you can get 1 utility slot on 2 different frames in a 5-day period. And of course, because it's Warframe and because it's pay to win, you can of course buy your oh man, I've been around a lot today. You can buy an adapter for 20 platinum, not unlike your Orkan catalysts and Orkan reactors. So yeah, it's pay to win, so there you go. So we'll just quickly go through the remainder of this particular quest. So overall, as far as the quest goes, it's fine. It adds quite a bit in-depth storyline to the Lotus's background and the sentience, of course. It does help us get used to some of the changes to do with the new mobile defense capture missions. It obviously forces players to experience the new Uranus tile set. Everything I'm okay with. And of course, it gives you a free Excellence adapter, which I'm okay with as well. Alright, so I'll just quickly finish that off. So there we go. That pretty much brings us to the end of the mission. Now, I did experience a bug here, and that is basically this, right? So nothing happens in navigation, nothing happens in communication inbox, nothing happens in codex, but this is easily fixed by quitting the game and re-logging in. But this is the end of the quest. When you log in, you are basically just given the Excellence adapter and the quest completion part. Yeah, so the guy is called Tishan. Oh yeah. Alright guys, so that pretty much completes the Natah quest walkthrough. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next videos.
There are gaps. I had my mission, and I have completed it. All but the last sequence.
To destroy the Tenno.
The war was over, so I hid them away. In the second dream, I could not destroy them.
And yet, you were born to. So tell me, what made you stop to reject your nature?
All missions to the origin system required a sacrifice. Me and my kind become barren when crossing the gap. It is the one flaw we never overcame.
Natah wanted children of her own.
Natah was the daughter, until I destroyed her. Now, I am the Lotus. Now I am the mother.
That's deep, man. That's deep. The term is sealed, at least for now. Good work. There's one more thing. When you were sealing the term, tell Rigger, salvage several things from the sentient there. Use the Excellence to fortify your Warframe against... Okay. Obviously I scrolled down too fast and can't read that, but yeah, there's your Excellence adapter, and of course our quest completion screen.
Behavior. Our differences need to be settled. So, you know where I am. Come, get me. Just try.
Tenno, you know where Till is. When you are ready, destroy him.